Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to Delaware Live Weekly. Thanks for sticking with us here. I know a little bit of a delayed start, but if you did stick around, you're going to catch a great show. I'm Patrick Arianes. With me, Benny Mitchell, Glenn Fraser, Nick Alzandrini. Heard you're under the weather. Hope you feel good soon. Fellas, we had an exciting week of high school sports, saw some great crowds and tremendous games, but we have two special guests here tonight, Benny, and I know it's something that's near and dear to you.
Yeah, Joe McDonough and Jed Bell from the Be Positive Foundation and the Fort Troy Foundation. We'll talk about a little of this in the next segment, but this weekend's going to be our Childhood Cancer Awareness Games. 3 games coming up, Thursday night, tomorrow night, Glenn's game, Cape and Logan and Appoquinimink, and then downstate we'll have Woodbridge, Lake Forest, and then up north we'll have the big one, Smyrna and Salesianum, two top 5 teams in the state going at it at Abyssinia Stadium. So looking forward to the next segment, and we'll talk a little bit about what we're doing, what our plans are, and some special prizes that folks can win.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that, so stick around, you're not going to want to miss it. Before we get into that, we got to recap some of the excitement that we saw this past weekend, the 3 great games that came to you. And with that, Glenn, we'll start with your matchup because this was one that was a great one.
Packed house for homecoming at Smyrna. Maybe as big a crowd as they had for the first home game when Middletown came calling. It was the first state orthopedics game of the week. 2 unbeatens battling for the inaugural title in District 2 of Class 3A. Great homecoming atmosphere. Smyrna dominated opening half, took a 20-0 lead into the locker room. All 3 touchdowns scored by the homecoming king, Wayne Knight. And then Dover opened the third quarter with a nice drive. They score on a Kilby run to make it 20-7. They get a turnover, a pick 6. It's a 1-possession game. Looks like we got a ball game with about 7 or 8 minutes to go. And then Smyrna kind of switched things up, got the offense on track, and scored a couple of times and eased to a 34-13 victory over a really well-coached Dover team. Looking to see how Dover rebounds when they play William Penn Friday.
Absolutely, and we have some video to roll for that as we're going to get right into what Glenn was talking about there. And what was a great matchup.
Yeah, like you say, Smyrna came out first and had a great pass downfield from quarterback edge to Devin DeMoe, one of his top receivers. Got behind the secondary, and that sets up the first touchdown of the game a couple of plays later, as it was, again, the homecoming king. He didn't know it until after the game. Little screen, middle of the field, 5-yard touchdown, run in by Wayne Knight. 2-point conversion failed, and at that point it was 6-0. Smyrna recovers a fumble here by Brandon West, and that'll set up the next touchdown. Again, it will be Wayne Knight, as he will run it in from 9 yards out, right up the middle, bounced outside, and just split the defenders. Again, 2-pointer failed, so at that point it was 12-0. That was the first quarter score. Then Smyrna driving in the middle way through the second quarter. Watch the downfield vision by Wayne Knight. Gets outside, tiptoes down the sideline. We were a little out of focus there, but Wayne Knight gets in there for the 6. His younger brother runs in the 2. Dover gets on the board, first drive of the second half. Kilby there with a 10-yard touchdown run. That was a 12-play drive that ate up 6.5 minutes on the clock. Cut it to a 2-possession game. And then right here, Smyrna goes to the earthquake, jump pass, intercepted by Ethan Roth. He goes 20 yards in for the score. And we're down to a 1-possession game, 8:27 to go, 20-13, Smyrna nursing a small lead. But they get it right back here. Edge finds DeMoe again, this time for 6. That puts them back up by 2 scores. And then they'll put the game away with Mr. Homecoming King himself, Wayne Knight. He's going to go right up the middle. He'll change directions a couple of times and go 40 yards for the score. There's a cut to the middle, another cut to the outside. Great downfield vision, reminiscent of his older brother, Will. And that was our final 34-13, with Smyrna clinching the inaugural District 2 and 3A.
And it was quite the matchup there. Smyrna's starting to get into a little bit of a groove, Glenn. It's definitely exciting to see.
Yep.
And
well, they're going to have their hands full Friday up at Abyssinia.
It's going to be a good one for sure. And Benny, your game, Cape and Central, we talked to both of those teams going into it, and they didn't disappoint.
Yeah, I liked it going in, and Coach Wells ready for this to be a rivalry game, and JD Moss saying, "Not so fast, my friend. You got to win one before it's a rivalry," and our goal was to win one tonight. And tell you what, they almost came out of there with a win. So let's go ahead to the tape. 53rd meeting between these two teams. It's a rivalry. I'm sorry, I played in this game. Sussex Central and Cable rivalry. This time it's at Sussex Central High School. The Cape and Open Vikings coming in, probably the best 1-6 team you're going to see in AAA or in the state this year as the Vikings take the field. And then Sussex Central, large crowd on Friday night, very loud crowd. The defending state champs, fighting for a bye in the first round of the playoffs. So we get to the action right away. It's PJ, I want to say Stratton. It's not Stratton. It's
Gardner.
Gardner's the quarterback. 1 yard.
Henry.
PJ Henry, thank you. That was after a long drive. It was like a 7-minute drive to start the game. And then Zamir Gardner, he fakes the handoff, bootlegs around the left end, dives in for a touchdown. And then right away, Sussex Central goes up 14-0. Watch these kickers. Both kickers, man, the ball just disappears. And then here we go, Zamir Gardner drops back and play. Watch this catch, leap, catch, jump. He did a little bit of everything. We're going to see that probably later on tonight. But he leaps for the catch, gets 1 foot down, and then dives for the end zone. And that was a long 37-yard touchdown pass. And then Justiniani comes on and boots it just right out of the picture. Both these kickers are good kickers. And then Cape, they drive down the field to start the second half, and there's D'Ambrosi to Di Lazario, a name that we haven't heard much. Cape put a lot of new guys in the game, a lot of new faces and new names. And then D'Ambrosio adds the extra point. And then here, screen pass over the middle of James. He takes it the rest of the way. And we're about 1:28 left. Anything is Cape had used all their timeouts to get to that point. And then again, D'Ambrosi kicks it almost to Millsboro for the extra point. D'Ambrosi just missed a 44-yard field goal.
Wow.
Just short at the half. That's how close this game really was. I think a lot of people coming in thinking, why are you showing this game? Well, I'm showing it because I know these two teams. I know what's going to happen when these two teams meet. And they didn't disappoint. 21-14 is your final.
It's a good one. And with that, we'll roll into the Newcastle County game of the week. Traveled down to 1A. Took in the first ever homecoming hoopla down there at Odessa. The Ducks taking on Polytech. And this was a good one. Tape is coming. Starting this one off, we talked about it, Friday Night Lights, the Ducks, homecoming. People were excited, the crowd was raucous. Starting this game off is Jordan Earl batting the pass, and Evan Van Berkom catching the interception, and the Ducks are flying, folks. The ensuing drive, here's a little reverse action. Mackenzie Kading taking the handoff, end around for 30 yards, untouched. Touchdown, 2-point conversion would be good. It's 8-0. Quack, quack, Ducks on top in this one. A little bit later, Simon Balsarak, the freshman quarterback, busts through the Odessa defenders for the 1-yard touchdown score. Poly making this thing interesting. They would also get the 2-point conversion, and we were knotted up at the half in what was a very conservative first half of the game. The second half's when things got going. And right here, Vincenzo Orlando, look at Kading, come back for the ball, make the catch, take it in for the touchdown. Ducks fly together. It's 14-8. Odessa on top after that big-time play. 2-point conversion was no good. Look at this hit from Azir Bellamy, knocking the ball into the end zone. Roman Carter recovering. It's 20-8 Ducks. It's pandemonium in Odessa. Folks are going crazy. A little bit later, I don't know what happened in this play, but all I know is Jalen Anderson picks it up. They didn't blow the whistle, and all of a sudden we're going to have ourselves a ball game with 5:22 remaining. All of a sudden it's 20-16 after this bizarre fumble recovery for a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. The Panthers trying to spoil homecoming late. A little bit later, it's Balsarak back to drop. Avoids the hit, throws while he's hit, and the ball hangs in the air to Amir Jenkins, and all of a sudden, the Panthers are in business with under a minute to go. The very next play, he's going to try and float one in here, and oh boy, what a play. It's Noah Norman with a diving interception. The flying V is complete. The Ducks are excited. These youngsters get a W on their first ever homecoming night. Look at this. The fans are excited. The coaches are jumping up and down.
They're going to the dance.
They're going to the dance victorious.
Right.
These youngsters, man, this is a good program building season for a young team like this, and a nice win for them.
Yeah, congratulations to Odessa for making the playoffs. They clinched a spot, the fourth spot.
I said on our preseason show, I went over and watched them scrimmage, Cape and Lope and the DMA, and they weren't afraid to sling the ball around the turf. I mean, it looked like a JV team, but man, they just had no fear in them, and they just went there against a DMA who's the top team in AA and a AAA team, and went after them.
It's true. So they were a great bunch of games there for Week 6. We're going to talk a little bit more about what's coming up, but first, after the break here, we're going to be joined by Jed Bell and Joe McDonough, who will talk about the childhood cancer awareness games coming up this weekend here on Delaware Live Sports. See you then.
How you doing? My name's Mike Cassidy. I'm the founder and president of Cassidy Painting. I started back in 1984, incorporated in 1986. I never had the word no in my vocabulary. If someone called me to do a job, I always said yes. Whether it was a struggle, whether it was 7 days a week, sun up to sundown, it didn't matter. And with that philosophy, we were able to grow to the size we are. We employ close to 80 individuals.
We really enjoy being in the family business. I look forward to coming to work every day, and it's so nice to work with the people that we work with in the office. We've really become a family with them. We really create a family experience around here.
And Cassidy Painting is a very diversified company. We don't say no to anything. We deal with everything from epoxy floors to painting buildings to spray foam insulation, spray fireproofing. If it deals with a coating, we can handle it. So when our customers call and they're under the gun and they know the need to get a job done, they know who to call because we perform. We've always been performed. We've never been replaced out of 37 years of business. For any of your painting needs, we can handle it.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution. We are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live.
And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to Delaware Live Weekly, live from the Buffalo Wild Wings here in Dover, and it does feel good to be back here. Glenn Frazier, Pat Garriani's, and joined now with us is Joe McDonough of the Andrew McDonough Be Positive Foundation, Jed Bell of the For Troy Foundation, and familiar face there on the end, Benny Mitchell. Gentlemen, welcome in. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Now, Benny, I know that there's a story behind how these two foundations came together and partnered with Delaware Live Sports for these games. Talk a little bit about how you're able to bring these guys together.
Back in September of 2020, the first annual Troy Haynes Community Day was going on, and we were right in the midst of COVID. And I said to my wife, I said, "You want to ride over there?" Because one of the things that happens here at Delaware Live Sports is we build connections with some of these kids, especially with me with Woodbridge. I was doing a lot of Woodbridge games and got to know a lot of these kids over the year, and so I felt like I needed to be there. So I went. And the whole way over, I'm thinking, what's this going to be like? What's it about? And I started thinking about, what could we do to help these foundations make their way? And so I saw Jed when we got there, and I was talking to him about, how about we start? Well, first of all, this came about in a empty field in Greenwood. So it doesn't get any more Sussex County than that, okay? So big tent, a lot of people, selling raffle tickets and food. It was a really good event. A lot of alumni came back. It was a really good time. And we just didn't know each other work. It was right with the mask, And so I went up to Jed. I said, I got an idea. Why don't we have a childhood cancer awareness game? Because the Fort Troy Foundation was just getting started. And Jed goes, well, there's somebody I want you to meet. That's a good idea. I want you to meet somebody. So we leave my wife standing in the middle of this field. She knew 2 people at the whole event, and she hadn't bumped into them yet. And so he introduced me to Joe McDonough, from B Positive, which I think on the way over I called it B Plus, and you're like, no, it's B Positive. So, and I'd heard of the B Positive through the University of Delaware games. Wasn't real familiar with it, but I knew that we had a Slay-Zanum connection. I said, well, let's do 2 games. Let's do one at Slay-Zanum. Let's do one at Woodbridge, and we'll do it in October during Cancer Awareness Month. Well, then we couldn't do it because it was COVID season. Couldn't have fans. It was the buzzkill season last year, and so when the season ended, I said to Jed, we're going to do this. We're still going to do this. So it came to this year, and Slay-Zanum was home, and Woodbridge was home on the same weekend, which just happens to be this weekend. Yeah. So we threw in the Apo Cape game, and I think the athletic directors have been very responsive. The teams have been very responsive, and I think we had a bigger vision of what we were going to do than what we're actually going to do. But I talked to Jed on the phone one day. I said, let's get it going. Let's get it started. This is going to grow. We're taking high school football and putting it with these 2 great organizations, and this is going to grow. Let's just get it started this year.
Absolutely. And Joe, the Be Positive Foundation, well established, has been around for over a decade now, and now you partner up with the Fort Troy Foundation to incorporate high school football into the mix. Does this tie everything together in a nice, little package for both, to connect these 2 foundations?
Well, I think it's a logical connection for this. So much of our foundation is about kids helping kids fight cancer.
Yeah.
And we had the blessing, if you will, of coming together, and I had an opportunity to know Troy, and Paul Werlow and I visited with Coach Bell and Troy and his family at a hospital in Philadelphia. We tried to help him through the journey, and sadly, Troy passed away like my son did. But it just, childhood cancer affects 46 kids each school day. And it doesn't matter what county you're in, it doesn't matter what religion you are in, the color of your skin. Troy actually reminded me a lot of my son. My son was a freshman at Sally's when he died. Both kind of just like good kids, and just like everybody loved them. And so I just think it's just a nice opportunity to work with you guys and bring something together like this that's good for the community and raises awareness.
Absolutely. And Jed, did the same thing to you, talking about partnering up with Be Positive.
Right. I mean, for us, we're just grateful even to have our name, our foundation associated with Joe and Be Positive. And he's a superhero. He's an amazing guy, super humble. But what he did for Troy and his family, and the support that he was able to offer, really inspired us, right? And that's what myself and his family and a lot of people from within our community that have come together to create this foundation and keep it going. I think you grieve by moving forward and paying it forward to help others. And the Be Positive Foundation inspired us to do something very similar. And we're nowhere near where they are yet. But one day we aspire to get to that level, obviously, and we're just taking baby steps day by day to get there. So, he's, like I said, he really inspired us and did so much good, not just for Troy, but every single day. Their foundation is unbelievable. So the fact that we're even mentioned in the same breath as those guys is unbelievable. So we're really proud to be here.
Yeah, and Joe, obviously Be Positive has really kind of grown so much support locally, all around the state of Delaware and even beyond. Talk about some of the partnerships that you've been able to, connect with locally to grow the Be Positive into what it's been.
Sure. So as I mentioned, a lot of it is kids helping kids fight cancer. So we have partnerships with students at about 75 colleges around the country. Mm-hmm. Our largest event is with partners, our students at the University of Delaware. And, you know, this year they will raise over $2 million at UDANCE. And that allows us to be, we are the largest provider of financial assistance to families of kids with cancer in the country.
Right.
And you know, I never thought that, you know, it could start from something so small and you know, but, you know, I appreciate what Jed said, but, you know, it's every family you help. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 families or one family. You know, if it's 1,000 research grants or one research grant, we're all together making a difference. And to his point, we're honoring those kids that have been in the fight.
And Jed, talk about kind of your involvement in getting the For Troy Foundation started and how you were able to get things to where they are now.
Yeah, so for us it was a no-brainer. Obviously, you know, once Troy passed, we knew we had to do something to help others, and specifically as it relates to Troy, renal medullary carcinoma is the cancer that took his life. You know, he flew to Texas to get clinical trials and therapies down there because it's something that's just so rare and unheard of that unfortunately, when a lot of kids are diagnosed with it, they don't have, you know, stand much of a chance at all. You know, his life was really extended thanks to the things that we were able to do, you know, mainly through Be Positive. So that really inspired us that, you know, we've got to find ways to get exposure out there as it relates to RMC and what it is, and, you know, its relations to the sickle cell trait. Just helping, you know, create that awareness and knowledge regarding the disease, so that there is hope for those when they're dealing with it and they feel like that uphill battle is just kind of insurmountable. We want to be there to help them, and really, like I said, we're trying to follow the footsteps of these guys and Joe and what they do and replicate something very similar.
Hey Jed, like Benny, I've broadcasted a lot of Woodbridge games over the past 5 or 6 years and got to know a lot of the kids.
Yeah.
After what happened to Troy, I remember a playoff game, semifinal game, 2019. Woodbridge is behind going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
All the fours came out, and it just seemed to be an eerie feeling that night. Woodbridge comes from behind. They win that semifinal game by 1 point over Caravel.
Yep.
And so many times since then, it just seems like a fourth quarter team that his aura has just enveloped not only the football team, but that whole community, and it's just grown from there.
Yeah, it's certainly powerful. It means a lot to us in that community. You know, even though I'm not there anymore, I'm still really proud of that program and those guys for carrying that forward. It's something that literally lives with them. We discussed it as a program and as a school. We didn't want that number to exist. You know, we wanted everybody to wear it, right? So it's still on the jersey, on the patch, on their chest, and it means something to them, you know. And whenever, you know, when you do something and you're inspired, right, and there's purpose for what you do, I think you know your performance levels, the output is where it needs to be, and it's at a much higher level, right? So those guys are inspired. That community, they really rally behind it because it's real, you know, and it's for good reason because he was an amazing kid who we all really learned some amazing lessons from, I think, too.
Now, I can't help but notice a few items that we have on the table here, both local flair in their own way. Talk a little bit about these items, and from what I've heard, these are, you know, folks at home have a chance to, with a donation, maybe take some of them home. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and put these on eBay. The Be Positive Foundation does have an eBay account and link, you know, where they put items up for auction. You know, this is a pretty sweet one. I'll start with this one. I want to win this one. I don't want a lot of people to know about this one. But from the Eagles were gracious enough to send us a Brandon Graham autographed football. So
nice.
Brandon Graham, kind of the heart and soul of those guys' defense, and you can certainly tell he's missing this year.
And this is one of my son's Salesian brothers from Sally's, Troy Reeder. Troy is not only a phenomenal football player, but an even better young man from a wonderful family. And Troy sent us one of his jerseys. He's having just a phenomenal season, a few interceptions, one of the leading tacklers on the Rams. So, you know, every little bit that we auction, we'll be able to help families.
Yeah.
And as you know, that's what you asked about, you know, football and childhood cancer organizations. And not to sound corny, but this is a family.
Right.
And you know, it brings it together. And you're talking about Woodbridge. I'm not from Woodbridge, and when I went down there, I was blown away. I was blown away by the community. And I will say, not just because he's sitting next to me, But this guy is a big part of it. He wasn't just Troy's football coach. Honestly, if you don't mind me saying, from my perspective, he was like a second father to that young man. And this is, I give him a lot of credit.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I guess to wrap things up, where can folks go to donate or get involved with either one of these foundations? Where should they be going to?
Yeah, so we have a website, fortroyfoundation.org. There is a donate button on there. And I do want to mention, we do have some game sponsors as well.
Sure.
That are stepping up and helping us. So for the Woodbridge Lake Forest game, Outtrain Fitness, based out of Milton, Delaware, they're going to be there. They do a lot of great things for local athletes in our area. A lot of off-season training. Those guys really stepped up, especially during the COVID months, to give athletes a place to go and train every day. So Mike Sager from Outtrain Fitness, he's going to be our game sponsor. And I'm sure you want to speak a little bit about Jason, right?
Yeah, so for Sally's in Smyrna, two grads from Sally's who are from Unique Image, Jason and John Kleber, and that's where we get all of our Be Positive gear. And certainly people can, if they're interested in Be Positive Foundation, can find us at bepositive.org, or more importantly, follow us on social media and you can find everything else that's going on.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? Any message you want to give out to them?
My biggest thing is every little bit helps, right? Continue to spread the positivity and just reach out to those in need. And I think, you can't live a perfect day without doing something for somebody who will never be able to repay you. And that's kind of the mindset that I have, every single day with this foundation.
I can't do better than that.
I want to add one thing is, this could have easily have faded away with COVID.
Yeah.
But after meeting Joe, and I've always known Jed, and at that community day, Christina Haynes spent the entire day with a smile on her face. This is a year after her son had died. They just inspired me not to let this not happen.
Yeah.
I was bugging Jed a lot in the summer and the fall, and he's changing jobs, and I'm emailing him, I'm texting him, I'm calling him because he hasn't answered me yet. But it was just one of those things that being around people like this sucked me in, and maybe I'm not on the financial end of it, but I knew that we had a platform.
Right.
And we have a big following, and I knew that with high school football, we could tie two great organizations together and do good things for families.
Absolutely. Well, thanks once again, guys.
Thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
Joe McDonough, the Andrew McDonough Be Positive Foundation, and Jed Bell of the For Troy Foundation. Got great games coming at you this weekend. Those items as well. Get on that eBay page, make your donations, and thanks once again. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Benny and Glenn will be here with me after the break. We'll talk some pigskin right here on Delaware Live Weekly.
High school athletics is not what it used to be. The sporting goods industry has been disrupted, adding to coach and athletic director daily challenges. BSN Sports stands ready to change the fundamentals of our industry, giving our customers the advantages they need right now. Your dedicated local sales pro is supported with nationwide team service, including sport and category experts. Get the look of D1 colleges and pro teams with our program that streamlines ordering your staff apparel, player gear, and fan wear. Stretch your budget with our fundraising solution. Free and ready in minutes. Our campus branding products are perfect for boosting school and team pride. BSN Sports has the advantages you need right now. High school athletics is not what it used to be. The sporting goods industry has been disrupted, adding to coach and athletic director daily challenges. BSN Sports stands ready to change the fundamentals of our industry, giving our customers the advantages they need right now. Your dedicated local sales pro is supported with nationwide team service, including sport and category experts. Get the look of D1 colleges and pro teams with our program that streamlines ordering your staff apparel, player gear, and fan wear. Stretch your budget with our fundraising solution. Free and ready in minutes. Our campus branding products are perfect for boosting school and team pride. BSN Sports has the advantages you need right now.
At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
But have you tried Premier?
And we're live back here at the Dover Buffalo Wild Wings for Delaware Live Weekly. Glenn Frazier, Benny Mitchell, Patrick Garianis, and that was really great to talk with both Jed Bell and Joe McDonough ahead of this weekend of great games for a great cause. Benny, it was really a tremendous job. And you had another note here.
Yeah, when we first met, we had a meeting here in July or August, and we were talking about fundraising, and Joe McDonough said, I had a guy years ago donated 1,000 points, $1,000 per point at one of our games. And I said, well, go find that guy because we're going to line up Smyrna and Slazeana for him. But the guy has since moved, I think probably hiding his identity because that could get expensive on Friday night.
Yeah, it wasn't that many years ago that we saw a 76 to 58 basketball score thrown up there. But with that, we're gonna roll right into our top five. So we're gonna start with our Class A, Glenn and Benny, and there's no changes amongst the top five. You got Laurel, St. E's, Indian River, St. Andrews, and the Blue Jays, maybe the Seahawks in there, the Blue Jays, the Seaford in there at number 5. Looking at a couple scores, Seaford rolled over Early College 52-8. Maybe in what was a statement game of this week, St. E's defeating St. Andrews 62-28. Indian River losing to Delmar 35-7. Delmar, as I said earlier in the year, they get going right around this time of the season. And then Laurel really with a big-time game, 71-0 over First State. They got Seaford coming up on Friday. What stood out to you here in this division this week?
Well, it's really looking to me, it's a 1-2 race in 1A. Laurel and St. E's appear to be head and shoulders above everybody else. I don't see any other team that's going to challenge. I do want to congratulate Odessa again for clinching the school's first ever playoff spot, number 4 in District 2. And really, Benny, the top 4 are set in both districts now for the playoffs. St. E's, St. Andrews, Charter, and Tatnall in 1, and Laurel, Indian River, Seaford, and Odessa in District 2. Matter of fact, Jason's already got set up with the playoffs.
Yeah, he's been in the bunker. He's been in the bunker again. Laurel has another test. They have Indian River, who played a close game with St. E's, so we're going to find out a little more next week with how that game comes out. You know, they say you can't compare scores, but you can compare scores if they're significant. But I tell you what, Laurel's dominance of single A shows just how hard it's been to make a living in the Henlopen South over the years.
Yeah.
That is true, and you mentioned it, right? Jason, he sent his bunker notes to us here. And like you said, if the playoffs started today, your matchups would be number 8 Wilmington Charter at St. Elizabeth. That'd be interesting. I know defensive coordinator at Wilmington Charter, John Hedrick, former Viking, not only as a player but as a coach, so that would be interesting to see. Number 7 Odessa would travel to Laurel. Number 6 Indian River gets St. Andrews, which I believe has had a game earlier, played this season or not yet?
No, they've not played.
No, so that would be a good one. And then Seaford and Tatnall in that 4-5 matchup.
And that Seaford-Tatnall could change a little bit because you're going to divide Seaford by 9, and that might boost them to a home game. We'll see. We'll see how it all works out. They still have Laurel to play.
And now looking at our rankings, we're switching gears to Double-A. Archmere sitting atop at 7-0, and it's hard not to be impressed with what the Hawks have done this year. DMA Woodbridge following at 2-3. Caravel bumps up to 4. And Wilmington Friends, hopping in at number 5 this week, and they've done pretty darn good to get there. Looking at some of the scores last week, Caravel shuts out Lake Forest 21-0. Howard takes another loss, and it's two friends,
right.
35-0. Woodbridge over Milford 20-6. DMA over a banged-up Spartans and St. Mark's team 35-7. And Archmere continuing to roll 28-6 over CR. Glenn, it's looking like things are starting to position themselves in this division as well, in this class.
Except for District 3.
Right, yeah.
Because I think, Benny, we're looking at Woodbridge and Caravel and Delmar, I think right now as 3 of the 4 automatic spots.
I don't think Delmar has it yet.
Take everybody else in that district fighting for that last spot.
Possibly last 2, because remember, we didn't have that Delmar-Milford game.
Right.
So those 2 guys, they're without a win.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting how that's going to play down the stretch. Delmar's got Caravel coming up this week, and then they have Lake Forest. It looks like the winner of the Milford-Sussex Tech game could settle it. If Milford can win that, I think we see who our 4 teams are. Then I think Delmar's safe. We all said in August that this was the district.
Oh, yeah.
This was going to be the toughest district. It would be the most competitive. I think it has been for 7 weeks now. The Class 2A quarterfinals are going to be electric.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be 4 tough games. I mean, there's 8 teams in here that can win a state title.
Yeah, and let's look at it. The bunker notes from Jason, a 12-team tournament would be in this thing. There are a couple teams here that have not clinched the spot yet, but again, it's if it was today. And you talked about some of these first round games. Number 12, Newark would be visiting number 5, Delmar. And before we get to that, your buys would be number 1, Woodbridge, number 2, Archmere, number 3, DMA, and number 4, Wilmington Friends getting the buys. Newark, Delmar first. Then you would get number 11, Concord, traveling to number 6, Caravel. Number 10, Lake Forest, traveling to number 7, St. Mark's, and then Howard at Tower Hill in that 8-9 matchup. Of those games there that are lined up, I mean, which one intrigues you the most?
Well, number 9 and number 8, Howard, Tower Hill.
Yeah.
And then Lake Forest and St. Mark's would be another good matchup. Now, of course, folks, it's still speculating at this point. This could all change over the next couple of weeks. But I like the top 4 buys. I think those 4 will probably stay there in those top 4 positions.
I believe. That 9-8 intrigues me because the winner gets number 1 Woodbridge, which is going to be a good game in itself. Especially the quarterfinals are going to be electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a game this week, Lake Forest traveling to Woodbridge. The Blue Raiders can clinch District 3 championship with the win. Caravel will travel to Delmar in another District 3 game. 3 undefeateds left here, 3 unbeatens left. Who, if any of them, is the most in trouble in these final couple of games here?
Well, any game in Class A, you're in trouble, especially when you look at District 3. Because you got a last place Red Line team that's pretty good. They could be maybe 4th place in another district.
Right.
The Spartans, they're a ball control team. The Blue Raiders, they don't mind winning close games. I mean, they're pulling them all out at the end. It looks like rain on Friday night, heavy at times, natural turf. Woodbridge is -4 on the takeaway, giveaway. They're ripe for a Lake Forest team on this Friday night. It's Halloween.
Yeah.
It's Halloween weekend. So I think Woodbridge finds a way. I think Woodbridge escapes and looks down at the end of the road to a Howard team. Red Line, then Howard.
And I think the mystique of number 4 beats out Halloween.
And it's homecoming.
Right.
Yeah.
And as far as Archmere and DMA, I think they're both going to stay undefeated until that last game when they play each other. And boy, are we looking forward to that one.
You're right, Glenn. Keeping things moving right along. Let's go into Class 3A where the playoffs, we know who's making the playoffs. They all are. Your top 5 up there on the screen. Middletown, Smyrna continuing at number 1 and 2. Dover at 3. St. George's at 4. Sally's at number 5, despite a 5-1 record. These teams are going to beat each other up a little bit as the season goes on. Taking a look at the scores from last week, Sally's beat William Penn 39-21. St. George's falls to Middletown 49-7. Pearson 171 rushing yards. Roberson 116 for the Cavaliers on the ground. And we talked about Dover falling to Smyrna 34-13. You said Knight 161 yards, 4 touchdowns for Mr. Homecoming King. It's tremendous. A couple big games coming up. Dover Actually,
That was last week.
That was last week. So we'll keep moving right along. Talk about what we've seen up here in this Class 3A, gentlemen. Glenn, I'll let you start.
Well, I think Dover might need a win at home Friday night against William Penn to secure a first round bye, because they still have to play Salesiana in their last regular season game. If they lose those two, that might knock them out of that top 5 spot. Number 2, Smyrna at Absenio Friday night against Salesiana. That's a big game for seeding coming up. And who knows, if Smyrna loses that game, they could possibly fall from where they are to not even having a home game in the first round. And then I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. We got a Thursday night game. I'll get my first look at both Cape Henlopen and Appoquinimink, 2, I think, underrated quarterbacks in Von Brandt and D'Ambrosi from Cape Henlopen. Von Brandt's like 6'7", so he can look over all the defensive linemen and try to find his receivers. But the Jags are on a 3-game win streak, and I think the key is their running back. Daniel McDonough missed the first 4 games of the season. So they've got a 3-game winning streak. Ironically, he's been back the last 3 games. He's averaging 160 yards per game. And I know Benny knows a lot about Cape, how dangerous that 1-6 team is.
Yeah, they're another ball control team, and D'Ambrosi can extend plays. I watched him Friday night, and it clicked to me that he reminds me a lot of Nolan Henderson. He gets in trouble, he gets out of trouble, gets himself back into trouble, but he can extend the play. The biggest, if he has a fault, it's he's not afraid to throw the ball back across the field. And he's been picked off 5 times this year, 2 tips, and then he's tried to throw him back across. He's got the arm to do it, but this last week he had 3 long runs on broken pass plays for first downs where he just escaped the pocket, either climbed the ladder and took off, or he went around the side. But he had 3, maybe even 4 plays. 1 for 20 yards on a 4th and 12. He went 20 yards and set up a touchdown. So he's underrated in a different way. He's also just an outstanding athlete. Obviously, an all-state lacrosse player, has played basketball, has wrestled, and watch his kicks.
Yeah.
He just missed his 44-yard field goal, just went under the crossbar.
Something.
He also punts too, right?
He's their punter.
He's got a little gunslinger in him, old Brett Favre back in the day, Benny. But Sussex Central hosted St. George's. That's got all the makings of a good one.
Oh yeah, it's again 2 ball control teams. I find this game interesting because we're talking about the top 5, and Sussex Central could come out Friday night and change the whole scene of AAA with a win. And say what you want, it's tough to win down there. It's tough to win football games. I think we said last week, over the last 10 years, they're 43-12 at home, 44-12 now. They find a way to win games and protect the castle.
Jason's bunker notes. He takes a look at the seedings here for 3A. Your top 5 buys in this one go to Smyrna at 1, Middletown at 2. Sally's gets there with some points there at number 3. St. George's at 4. And then Appo has snuck themselves into a first-round bye after the really rough start. Your opening round games are going to be number 11, CR at Dover, number 10, Hodson at Sussex Central, and then number 9, Cape at William Penn. That, again, is if the standings were to stop today. Looking at that, what stands out to you, whether it be a team that snuck up to the bye or a first-round matchup that's got you intrigued?
Well, 2 things for me. Number 1, Benny, I'm sure would want to do that Cape William Penn basketball score rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like 6.5 minutes of highlights?
Something like that, but it's going to be on the thick grass at William Penn. That might slow the game down a little bit.
Yeah, if these seedings hold up. The other thing to me is Jason has Appo sitting right now with a bye at number 5. Keep in mind, after tomorrow night, they have to finish at Smyrna, and they finish with Salesiana.
It's tough.
So it's going to be tough for them to hold on to a bye spot unless Dover loses both their last 2 games. So again, all subject to change. We like to talk about this stuff and speculate.
That's right. We put ourselves on the line.
That's right.
Ben, is there anything that stands out to you here?
Again, that rematch, that William Penn Cape rematch, everybody looks at the score, but that wasn't indicative of how that game was played.
Right.
I thought Cape had that game locked up at halftime, and William Penn just exploded in the second half. You get a Dover CR rematch. So That's always fun.
Civil War Part 2?
Right, and Sussex Central already played once this year, so
Right.
you're looking at 3 rematches.
Absolutely. So that's going to do it for our rankings, and as well as looking ahead here, a little bit of a peer into the future thanks to Jay. But we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, more breakdowns into the football. We got our picks coming up, as well as our top plays and top performers right here on Delaware Live Weekly.
At Ferris Home Improvements, your family's comfort and safety is always our top priority.
If you call us for your roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchen, and bathroom needs, you can expect health-screened craftsmen who wear gloves and face masks and follow minimum 6-foot distancing, virtual conferences to discuss project details, job quotes delivered electronically or brought to your door for your review and approval, and our showrooms in Newark and Rehoboth Beach remain open for limited appointments.
We're here together.
Operating with precautions.
To protect our staff.
And our customers.
Live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution. We are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
Whether you're planning to buy a home in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, let me walk you through the process from start to finish and get your questions answered. I'm a DHSA lender with down payment assistance programs or grant money. I can help those with less than perfect credit or those working on their credit. I'm also local and always have been. So call 302-563-5599 or visit bryans.loans.com when you are ready to get started on your road to homeownership.
Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
but have you tried Premier?
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Today we're at Lupo Italian Kitchen in downtown Rehoboth Beach. Come check us out. Located inside the Hotel Rehoboth, Lupo serves coastal Italian cuisine with fresh pasta made in-house daily. Lupo features plenty of unique craft cocktails and an extensive award-winning all-Italian wine list. Popular dishes include lobster bucatini, veal meatballs, grilled swordfish, and eggplant parmesan. Lupo Italian Kitchen on Rehoboth Avenue, serving happy hour daily and dinner 7 days a week. See you soon. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer.
Get the assurance that your HVAC system is what you need with Ambience. Ambience provides you with over 25 years of experience in the heating, cooling, and plumbing industry. The team at Ambience Heating and Air Conditioning provides high-quality residential HVAC installations, maintenance, and repairs in new and older homes in the Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania tri-state area. You may not realize it, but half of your energy costs go to heating and cooling. Make sure your energy dollars count and call us today for a free estimate. 302-239-HVAC. 302-239-4822.
We're back here, ladies and gentlemen. The wings are cooking. We're hopefully getting some after the show. Live here at the Buffalo Wild Wings of Dover. It's Delaware Live Weekly. Thanks for joining us. Glenn Frazier and Benny Mitchell are with me. Once again, we gotta mention the good lineup of games we got coming up this week for our childhood cancer awareness games. Glenn and company will be at Appo tomorrow night as they play host to Cape Henlope, and that's a 7 p.m. start. You can tune in a little bit early, around 6:45ish for the pregame, and then that game will be brought to you. Then we got at Abyssinia Stadium on Friday night, Salesiana playing host to Smyrna, 7 o'clock start, same situation, a couple minutes before. And then Benny and your crew will be down at Woodbridge as they take host to Lake Forest, Friday night, 7 p.m. kickoff. What time is your pregame?
6:35.
6:35 for that pregame. So definitely go and check those out. Great causes, great games coming at you. So that'll conclude the football talk, and now we'll get into the handful challenge, as well as our top 10 plays and top performers. So let's go right into the handful challenge from Jay, right? So last week, Jay and Benny had 45 points each. They both go 5-0. So that leads Benny, you're still on top, 254. Jay at 234, trying to crawl back into this thing. Glenn at 215. Nick and myself are at 200. And Mike, we're still trying to figure out what you're doing, sir. 160, right? Rallying it up. So, what do you guys got here? Give me a game or two that you're looking forward to that you're picking. I'll start with you, Glenn.
Well, my upset special, we were talking about it just a little while ago. Hard to win a game at the Castle. And even though I think St. George's might win that game, I'm picking Sussex Central to win by a field goal over St. George's. St. George's is making that long ride down there below Georgetown near Millsboro. And field hockey. After Smyrna scored on Delmar last week, as I predicted.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Only the second team all year to score
correct.
on Delmar. What are they ranked in the nation?
Number 2 in the Mid-Atlantic, I saw.
Number 9 in the nation. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. Yeah.
Right. So anyhow, I'm going to go with the Eagles again on senior night field hockey over St. Andrews 5-2.
Benny?
Yeah, I'm noticing Jays must be hiding his picks. He's hiding his hand. I'm going to go with the 128th meeting between the Laurel Bulldogs and the Seaford Blue Jays. I'm taking Laurel 42, Seaford 7. And then I'm going to go with the big one up in Absinio. Number 2, Smyrna 38. Number 5, Salesianum 24.
Now, is that 128 meetings? I'm assuming there's a few years where they met more.
They missed 1 year in 2001 due to potential there was some police activity.
Yeah.
There was some threats throughout the day, and the 2 schools said, we're not playing.
So that's over 100 years
Yeah.
of football.
It used to always be on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they used to play. It used to be the big thing. They used to play the Delmar Laurel game in the morning, and then play the Seaford Laurel game in the afternoon, and then would flip it each year. And we're talking the 1960s, and you're talking 3,000 people to watch those games.
Yeah, you kidding me? The
Yeah.
little Turkey Bowl game? Now you can't do that with the tournament.
Because of the playoffs, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to ride with my Vikings. You guys are making me proud here, St. Elizabeth. It's funny, last time they won a state championship,
You were on
2010.
Yeah.
One of 2 losses in that season was to Wilmington Charter. It was a really great year for the
Right.
Force. This year, the Force have made a pretty good indent.
Right.
But I think the Vikings, really probably the best start to a season since that 2010 season. I
Right.
think they get a win over Wilmington Charter. I'm going to go 42-21. I think they double the Force up and continue their undefeated start to the season. Looking at a couple other scores, Mike's got Caravel taking down Delmar. Like 27-19. I don't know. Delmar has been. This is their time of the year.
The last time Caravel went to Delmar was a playoff game that Caravel won.
And then we'll go with Jay. He's taking Smyrna over Sally's 36-35, a 2-point conversion.
You got the updated. You must have the updated script.
I do.
All right.
I do. I got the updated script for sure. But Benny, before we get into top place, a lot of great top performers last week.
Yeah, we had a lot of top performers. If you want to be a top performer, get your coaches and ADs to get the information to us, or put it out there on Twitter yourself. Yeah, or have your coaches and ADs update website for sports. That helps us a lot. I go through that every Sunday looking for some top performers, and we found 7 this week, 7 top performers. So we're going to start with number 1 for this week is Wayne Knight. Not only was he crowned the homecoming king, he had 4 touchdowns versus Dover. So Wayne Knight, your homecoming king, and 4 touchdowns. Number 2, and I please hope I don't butcher this name, Osi Chukwuwocha from Wilmington Friends. 3 touchdowns and 177 total yards on offense.
Tremendous.
Next up, I tell you what, between Cape and Delmar field hockey, they are raising the bar on top performers. It's either 4 or 5 goals out of field hockey now. This week, it's Macy Bradford from Delmar, her 2nd time on the show as a top performer. She had 4 goals in that Smyrna game last week. Number 4, Kasim Benson from St. Elizabeth. Kasim Benson, 25 carries, 490 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, 3 catches for 19 yards, totaled 510 yards of total offense. Kasim Benson, one of the top performances maybe ever in the state of Delaware.
He's getting it done.
The last one I can remember was that crazy Sally's Smyrna game where Reader rushed for over 400. I can't remember exactly how much it was. Number 5, Kenny Newton of Woodbridge, 18 carries, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he threw for 1.
Wow.
In that game. And he called a pass. And he had 8 tackles and 1 for a loss. So
that's good. Hey.
And he sold popcorn at halftime.
Or at least prepared the hot dogs before the game. Number 8, out of Salisbury University via Woodbridge, Brock Keeler, Defensive Player of the Week for the Seagulls. 7 tackles, half a sack, and 1.5 tackles for a loss. And last but not least, entering the top 10 in the country, the Delaware Wildcat field hockey team,
Well deserved.
number 9 in the country, number 2 in the Mid-Atlantic region.
How about
Yeah,
that?
well
Congrats.
deserved.
Yes.
I mean, it's been 2 decades of dominance down there, maybe longer. I just know for a fact. It's
I
been 2
tweeted
decades.
Coach Holloman the other day because that Cox out of Virginia Beach was number 1. I said, get him on schedule.
Get him on a schedule.
Yes, Virginia Beach isn't that bad a drive.
It's really, no, it's not, especially from down there.
Right.
So with that, it's time to get into our top 10 plays brought to you by BSN Sports. We're rolling a tape, gentlemen. Glenn, I'll get us started here with number 10. And it's Mike Lilly to William Dulaney.
Yeah, Lilly had a good game for St. Andrews
Look at
against
that
St.
catch.
E's.
It was a great job. St. E's would get the win. Number 9, Zach Bittner of Salesianum. Watch this one-handed save, folks. We're going to throw this thing in. We're going to try to bend it like Beckham. Oh! What a job making sure that doesn't go in. Number 8 is Elijah Schneider, Red Lion. Monster kill. I know Jay and Mike are watching somewhere. Woo! 18 kills in that one, according to our statistician, Nick Halliday. Jordan Earl to Evan Van Berkom. We saw this a little bit earlier, the Odessa game. Tipped. Looks like the immaculate reception, Glenn.
He didn't run for the touchdown like Franco did, though.
That's right. The Ducks, the flying V prevails. Number 6, Sussex Central. It's PJ. Wait, who? PJ Henry. That's right.
PJ Henry.
That's right. Gardner rolling back. Look at this prime time dime.
And the flip.
Touchdown. What work there? Henry, that pain feels so good, Glenn, for the touchdown. He looks like he was a little shook up, but 6 points makes him feel better. Number 5, Wayne Knight. This is your guy right here.
Nothing there in the middle, so he bounces it to the outside. Then 2 cutbacks. One there, one there. He's in the clear.
Hey, tell you what, you're right. He does look like his brother on that run. On that run in particular.
Wearing his number, too.
And he
Pat.
is. Smyrna starting to get the gears rolling. Number 4, here it is, Chukwuocha. We talked about him. Tremendous work this season, this week. Here's 1 of 3 for him on the week. So this Wilmington Friends football team, we need to start talking about them more. They're legit.
Yeah.
Chukwuocha, whoop! Whoa! Running through defenders and diving in.
Great balance in that.
Number 3, Ethan Roth, Kevin Decker, Dover, DMA, Glenn. This is a good one.
Yep. Little jump pass from Wayne Knight. Found the wrong guy. Ethan Roth knew what to do with it. That made that a ball game.
He did. It was Dover Smyrna, not Dover DMA.
Yep.
Now, here's the DMA play. The big fellow, you gotta love big boy touchdowns. Gets his big paw up on there, and he's untouched into the end zone. The 2 big fellas getting after it. You gotta love it. And then, number 2, Michael Lilly to Griffin P. Patterson from St. Andrews.
They've got a nice little pass game.
Let's see this. It's beautiful. It's the campus of the Dead Poet Society, and what a catch with the fist in the air. Mom's happy, excited.
Nice reference.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best movies. I love the
I
checker
saw
in
them
the end
filming
zone.
that movie. Yeah, with the late Robin Williams.
Tremendous. Even though they took the loss, that was a great play. Number 1, I mean, how can we not pick a Kasim Benson play?
Yeah.
This is 1 of 8 on the night. 91 yards to the house, wearing that great number, carrying on the legacy. A lot more than I did.
Couldn't pull him down.
The maroon pants. I mean, the Vikings got things rolling. And Kasim Benson, that's an all-time great game and great performance we talked about. Once again, top 10 brought to you by BSN Sports.
We think that's an all-time state record. Not quite sure, because I don't think anybody keeps the state records anywhere that I know of.
And
and there's conflicting reports as to how many yards he got. I saw a publication that he gained over 505 on the
right. And if you don't use max preps, you know, there's games that aren't in there.
After a couple
and
years.
I went to max preps and got what St. E's put in
Yeah.
as their official stats. So I had to go with what the coaches put.
That's what
we're
we'll
going to
go
have to
with.
go back. We're going to have to look at that Colby Reader game. There's also a game back in the day that a coach on the staff of St. E's, Craig Napier, had a total yardage game against Delmar back in 2010. I'm curious to see if that was done as well. But nonetheless, tremendous performances all around the board. Gentlemen, any final thoughts here before we close out the show?
Yeah, tune into these games this week. A special week for us here. Childhood Cancer Awareness Week, or games. And we'll have up as soon as Joe McDonough gets those items up on eBay, we'll have the link for you.
Nice.
We're going to run that for a week to 10 days, and we'll announce the winners here after the auction has expired. The Brandon Graham football and the Troy Reader jersey. And when you, like you said, when you tie around high school football and locality, it doesn't get any local than Colby Reader.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, Troy Reader.
Yeah. Hey, Glenn, what about you?
Well, we mentioned him earlier on. We had a reference about Wayne Knight's older brother, Will.
Yeah.
Delaware High School's all-time leading rusher, over 6,000 yards. He's doing pretty good out in Kansas. He scored twice last week for the 4-2 Garden City Community College team, and he leads the team with 7 touchdowns and 440 yards rushing. Good luck to Will. And he started out at Old Dominion. He went to Delaware. He's kind of bounced around. Hopefully he's found a home for a year, and then somebody will pick him up next year.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I mean, Will, obviously one of the better talents out there for sure. Once again, folks, don't forget, you'll find news and updates on our website every day. Please be sure to visit DelawareLiveSports.com and join our website to stay up to date on everything Delaware sports. Thanks once again for tuning in. We'd also like to give thanks to all the participants from the schools, whether it be coaches, ADs, or the students. This show will only get better with your participation, as Benny says. We're raking through it weekly to come up with our top performers. We would also like to give a special thanks to all of our sponsors. During the shows and games, you see their ads and their commercials. If you're in the market for any of their professional products, please contact them and let them know that Delaware Live Sports sent you. They are all locally owned and conduct business with true professionalism. Without these companies, our shows and live streams would not be possible. Remember to tune in live next week. Determine our location to be determined, but another 7 p.m. start for Delaware Live Weekly. I'm not sure, are we going to be back up at Christiana or
In Middletown next week.
Middletown next week? So keep an eye out for that. And if you're around, come out, check it out for sure. But that will do us for us here at Delaware Live Sports today. Benny Mitchell, Glenn Frazier, and Patrick Giriades. Thanks once again to everyone for tuning in. And like Benny said, tune into the games this weekend, starting tomorrow night at Apple with Glenn and the gang, 7 o'clock. See you then.